Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another Rovers Bulletin. We're going to go through a couple of stories today. Speaking about Luke Molyneux, we're going to speak about McCann's set pieces and a bit of an insight as to about that. We're going to get into a couple of stories today. First of all, before we do anything, thoughts and prayers right now go out to the victims of last night's horrific stabbings on a train at Huntingdon station. Obviously, it was the connecting train from Doncaster to London King's Cross, we believe. So all our thoughts and prayers right now are with the victims and their families. We really hope they pull through. We really hope that there's a recovery for every single one of those victims. And yeah, they'll be in our thoughts. They'll absolutely be in our thoughts. Let's get straight into this then. Let's speak about Luke Molyneux first of all, because this was an emotional week, and I did watch back over the Crew FA Cup game. Great to get through, obviously. It was a bit of a hard one, considering, you know, we went 1-0 down and then pulled it back. First half there were moments, but overall it was average. Second half got better, and we looked better than we had done the past few weeks. So yeah, it was a good result, and we got there in the end, which is, you know, it wasn't a world-class performance. It was just good. It was okay. It was decent, and we got through it, and we got through to the draw, which happens on Monday, I believe. And we'll talk more about that obviously close to the time when we have the actual draw, and we'll kind of go through the opponents that we get. But Luke Molyneux, this is a big week for him. It was an emotional one for Luke Molyneux, and we're going to sort of go through everything why. From what we took from the article with this game. So from what we can, so there's a lot of emotional context. That's the whole point of this story. There was a lot of emotional context behind the week. He revealed that it was one of the toughest games he's ever played, the Crew game. Following the recent passing of his grandfather. And again, my thoughts, our thoughts and feelings are with Luke Molyneux, his family, his friends, at this news. Very, very sad, very, very tragic news. And he posted himself alongside his granddad outside the gates of Sunderland. Of course, I believe he's a Sunderland fan. And he said, "Rest easy, granddad, I'll keep trying to do you proud. First of all, Luke, take it from me and take it from every single Rovers fan. You make him proud every single day regardless. You know, you don't have to try to make him proud because we already know you make him proud every single day. I just want to put that out there first." And the manager came out as well, was full of praise for after the match for Luke, saying he had a massive role in that first goal. And he did have a massive role in that goal. And, you know, the calmness that he showed in that moment, the captain Owen Bailey echoed those sentiments, calling Molyneux a top player and a top person. I'm so happy for him because he's tough on himself. And I don't mind a player that's tough on himself, because if you're tough on yourself, it means you can get better. And let's not beat around the bush here. For the past, 3 seasons, I'd say our top 2 players were Luke Molyneux and Owen Bailey. And to be fair, these are the 2 players, or 2 of the players that have been there the longest. In fact, I need to double check this. I think Luke Molyneux is actually our longest serving player right now, which is mad. Obviously, last season it was Tom Anderson for 9 seasons, as we already know. But I'm just kind of having a look just while we're recording this. Because, you know, you want to get the facts right. You want to, you know, get everything spot on at the end of the day. So looking at the current list of players in terms of those that have been here longer or longest, I believe it is Luke Molyneux. I do believe it is Luke Molyneux. So let's go to 2020-21 Doncaster Rovers season. And we'll kind of go from there, because I need to double check exactly when they were transferred in. So it wasn't then. That was the Moore to Butler season. So we go to 21-22. Bailey was on trial, I believe, that summer, but we just didn't get him because Well, I don't know. Could be a money thing, could be anything. So not there. So it would be 22-23 as our longest serving player, which I believe is Luke Molyneux, brought in from Hartlepool. So again, and I believe Bailey was the year after the 23-24 season. Yes, yeah, that's right. So Molyneux was summer of 2022. He is our longest serving player, as far as I'm aware. And, you know, Bailey's a year after that. And, you know, overall, I do like the fact that he's tough on himself. I think that provides development for an already experienced player, hence other players as well. And there's no doubt about it. He, for the past few years, has been one of our top players. He's been one of the top players on that list. He's been, you know, the star boy almost. So, you know, yes, this season there has been games where he has dipped in form, and we can't get away from that, and we can't shy away from that at all. But there has been games where he has been great, and, you know, we can't get away from that either. And I love the fact that he is tough on himself. Looking further on in this particular story, obviously he now hopes to build on this next week, and of course it is a big game next week, not only because it's Remembrance Weekend game. Obviously we do play a cup match on the day of Remembrance Day, on the 11th of the 11th, against Bradford at home, and that's the game to decide who tops the Virtue Trophy group. And I will say this now, and I'll probably say it in a separate video on that close to the time, I want to win that Virtue Trophy. I want to take a trophy at Wembley Stadium. I don't care how important it is. I don't care how big or small the trophy is. It's a trophy. I want it. Come at me all you want. I don't care. I do not care. But no, the Barnsley game is a massive, massive game for multiple reasons. It is the Remembrance Weekend League game. We will be paying tribute to our fallen heroes and our fallen comrades who served this country on the front line for so many years. And we honour those who continue to serve on the front line of this country. The second reason, it's a South Yorkshire derby. Barnsley have, I think, sold out their end. Will provide a lot of tickets for us. I expect a huge crowd. Not massive, massive, massive. We're not expecting a sellout 15,000. But I'm expecting a big enough crowd, maybe 9,000-10,000 altogether, including away fans. And, you know, it's a big one because now we've won in the FA Cup, we need to get back into winning ways in our league form. And who better to win against than a side in the playoff picture at the minute as it stands at this early stage? That is the big one there. And that's from my perspective. So it's a big game for numerous reasons this weekend, and let's hope this win takes it into that. And also in terms of players, as you can see at the side of me with my preferred best 11 right now, I think Molyneux is on that list. So we'll see what happens. But now let's go into a bit about set pieces, because McCann did give a bit of insight before the Crewe game about set pieces, and we'll go into some details on that and sort of share my thoughts on it. So he admits that the club have had their issues with corners, throw-ins and free kicks earlier this season, and we did. You know, we can't shy away from that. I think set piece is probably the least we look threatening, and, you know, we've struggled from open play at times. But in response, they've adopted a apparent fresh approach, sending the last 4 to 5 matches of opponents' set-piece setups to players via a WhatsApp group. From that, the squad narrows down to 3 or 4 specific routines they will use in-game, and crucially, players themselves lead the drills, with McCann saying it's all player-led. I've just had a DM from League of Pundits. Now, you're probably saying to yourselves, what is League of Pundits? It is literally as straightforward as picking one Premier League team to win every single match day. It is as simple as that. Make sure you create your own league with your friends, and you can win some amazing prizes. However, you can also also create some incredible forfeits as well. And I've got big news dropping today. I'm going to be creating the Chow Premier League right here on League of Pundits. So make sure you use the special designator code and make sure you join my league. And who knows, you could be walking away with some incredible prizes. Stay tuned, because this year could really be your year. And I think that is a mixed approach, and I will offer arguments for and I'll offer arguments against, because I have to stay balanced here. I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'll get comments saying, oh, you're sitting on the fence. Don't care, shut up. I'm allowed to play devil's advocate, and if I want to play devil's advocate, I will do. I will look at both sides of the argument. I'll make an opinion, but I will look at both sides first. So on the plus side, the players are the ones on the pitch. The players are the ones executing the manager's game plan. So if they want to find the 3 or 4 out of 4, 5, 6, whatever, however many from matches from the opposition that they need to accomplish when they come up to play the opposition, they can do that. On the other side of it, and looking at the other side of it, I look at that approach maybe as maybe the manager and the coaches should be leading the right drills, but then having the players input rather than the players lead it from that side of the argument. I actually prefer the plus side. I actually think this is the right approach. I think players leading the set-piece drills, knowing what they need to accomplish on the pitch to help execute it against the opposition they're playing, I think that's actually a very unique and unorthodox approach. And I do actually like the fact that the club's going a bit unorthodox with that side of it. So for me, I think that's the right approach in terms of the right way to go about it. I think it's quite unorthodox. I think it's quite unique, and I would say it's fairly all right. I'd say it's I think it's a decent enough approach. Looking more into this, they say he also emphasises ownership, the manager. Attacking players have a real say in where they'll be at every corner or what their job is, and even those not starting get the freedom to express ideas. That is what I love. I love the fact that we have not isolated players completely out of the situation. If they're not playing, they still get a say. And I love the fact they generate their own ideas, because it allows their development, both mentally and practically on the pitch, to continue to flourish. And that's what I like. You know, I've done coaching badges. I'm sure there's other Rovers fans that have done coaching badges and, you know, and have got experience at non-league, grassroots, kids level, etc. They'll have their different styles. They'll have their different approaches. I love the fact that even players that aren't starting games are involved in helping choose the set-piece situation. That's what I like. Don't get me wrong. If it comes up against Barnsley and we start seeing set-pieces aren't working, we'll look to the player. This is now evidence that we can look at the players and say, there's maybe one set-piece situation that we didn't choose in that WhatsApp group that maybe we should have chosen on reflection looking back. And that's maybe a player thing. You know, the manager does need to take leadership of that, and he will do, and he knows that. But if it's a player-led thing, they're going to be the main responsibility for what we do on set-pieces against Barnsley and against further opposition. So that could put unnecessary pressure on the players. Again, that's maybe an against argument for that particular method. On the wider tactical view, McCann has commented that set pieces are increasingly significant in modern football, with a stat noting 2/3 of the Premier League's side's goals stemmed from set pieces, which is an interesting stat. I think there's more dead ball situations than there is open play goal situations. Arsenal, look at them right now, top of the league. Their set-piece goals are dominating their open play goals from what we can see statistically and from what we can see on the pitch. Is the style of football Arsenal great? No. Not great at times, but it's getting results, and right now they need results. But what I would take away from it is they can't rely on set-piece goals forever. They just can't. They just can't. And on this, he said the game is reverting to quicker, more direct play to beat the press. And he's also stated that football is going in cycles. It really is going in cycles. So, I mean, it's an interesting report. It's an interesting one. Set-piece goals are important because if you know, at the end of the day, you need to be alert and alive in those situations, both offensively and defensively, to not concede or actually score last-minute winners, last-minute equalisers. If you can't win, don't lose. And they are important. But we need to also be aware that set-piece goals cannot dominate the fabric of football in years to come. We still need open play goals. We still need clinical finishing from our forward line. We still need clinical finishing from elsewhere if need be. Pick goals out from pockets of space. Pick goals out from 25-yard strikes. We need to see more open play goals as well. It can't just be set-piece anymore. It just can't. So... And, you know, are we leading to an era of football where set-pieces are becoming even more important and set-pieces end up dominating the open play goals? I don't know. I think football's entering a very interesting period right now. I think for a few years, and I think McCann said it himself, for a few years, it was an era where you take 65 passes before you even cross the halfway line. And he even said in the article, he doesn't like that. That's not his football. He doesn't really rock with it. So... I think we're now in an era where set pieces are becoming even more important in terms of goal scoring. And I think we're going away from I don't even want to call it the Guardiola, because this whole myth of, oh, Man City's ruined football. No, I'll tell you what's ruined football. It's not Man City, it's the people trying to copy Man City that have ruined it. So, and I'm not naming names because it could be anyone. So, for me, it's one of them. It's one of them where it's just, we're entering a new cycle in football and we better be prepared for it. So that's everything today. Obviously, you know, like I say, it's been a big week for Molyneux. I'm glad they had a good performance. Watching that back on reflection, he did have a good performance. Clifton showed how crucial he was coming back. You know, he was vital in that team. Sharp getting on the end of the effort. Again, it's good to see Sharp getting another goal. Bailey, captain, fantastic, not just a last-minute winner in the 93rd minute. I mean, again, great goal. Good, well worked as well, by the way. And, yeah, like I said, I'm grateful that we're in the next round of the FA Cup. People are saying, oh, I'd rather be out of the... You know, and the further we get on into the FA Cup, there will be people coming out and saying, oh, I'd rather be out of the FA Cup so we can focus on the league. That's probably in the case of if you're going to get promoted or win the league title, which we ended up doing last season. But for me, from my understanding, from my perspective, and in my opinion just, I'd love a cup run. Let's go on a cup run. Let's go and win the Virtue Trophy. Let's go as far as we can in the FA Cup, just like the Palace, when we ended up losing to Palace last season. Let's go on an FA Cup run. Let's try and win the Virtue Trophy. Let's get a respectable league finish back in this division for the first time in 3 years. You know, and I've said, from the summer onwards, I have said, if we finish 14th or above, I'm happy with that. Any higher is a bonus than 14th. Looking at how tough the league is, because let's be frank, we got gassed as a fan base after beating Bradford. In the league, we've not won since. We won the We Beat Bradford trophy, got gassed, fell apart in the league, and we now need to get back to winning ways. We got back to winning ways using the Cup against Crewe, and I can see the frustration on the Crewe manager. He was frustrated. We saw that in the post-match as well. For any Crewe fans watching, you know, you saw that. I watched it back. I saw it. It's clear. The frustration is clear. We've got back to winning ways in the FA Cup. Let's translate that to league form now. Let's go beat Barnsley, or try our best to beat Barnsley. Let's go and top the group on the Tuesday night after that against Bradford. And let's go to Lincoln away and do a job. Win at home, top the group, win away from home. Let's get back to form in the league and let's get top in that group in the Virtue Trophy. Let's put a marker down in that competition and let's get our league form back to winning ways. Thank you all very, very much. I'll be back, I'm sure, with a preview for Barnsley. I'm sure if there's any more news breaking, we'll bring it to you on the show in weekly, daily news uploads. We're going to get back to the content we all know and love, and we will see you in the next video very, very soon. Ta-ra for now.